Eskom's biggest two labour groups, the National Union of Mineworkers of South Africa, as well as the National Union of Mineworkers, are locked in wage negotiations with the power utility. Now, they're seeking wage increases of 15%. The Solidarity, which is a smaller group, wants a 9.5% increase for its members. But to give us an update of where the negotiations are at this moment, I'm now joined by NUM Deputy General Secretary, that's Mr. William Mabapa, who, of course, is here to give us some clarity. Mr. Mabapa, thank you so much for your time. I mean, when we look at the wage negotiations, it seems that there isn't an agreement, at least now, between Eskom and the union. Where do you stand in terms of those negotiations?
Yeah, ma'am, let me explain, because maybe to some others, when NUMSA and NUM demand 15%, they believe there is no logic behind the demands. Historically, you'll know that we are the trade union. Let me just put it blunt and say we are the trade union of blacks. And literally, those blacks are the ones that are in the lower structures of the organization. And Solidarity is recruiting the management area. So I can just give an example that whether we can demand 20% or whatever, if let's say, for example, we demand 20% and the company gives us 20% and Solidarity demand even 10%, the 10% that the member of Solidarity will get will still be, in terms of monetary value, more than the 20% that our member will get. I will take that. That is what people must then understand, that we are not representing workers at the same level. We are representing workers at the lower level. And we know where we come from in terms of salaries. One of our demands is the wage gap. So the salaries are differing very far. That is why we are saying that why we demand the 15%. But the other reason is, it is a 15% of what? Sometimes we cloud issues. When a person says 15%, I always give a very small examples.
Right.
If you ask me 10 cents, and then, or you ask me 20 cents, and then I give you 40 cents, it's 100%. But it's 100%, and it clouds very high. But it's 100% of what?
Right.
So I think we need to call a spade here, because I hear the analogy of any person talks about 15% as if 15% is big. You are working, and I'm sure in your own space.
So, Mr. Mabapa, then going back to my initial question with regards to where the negotiations are right now, can you give clarity on where they are? Because we understand the context of why you're making that demand. But where are you now in those terms of those negotiations?
No, I think where we are now is that yesterday we met with the chairman of Eskom, because what we asked Eskom from even the first day of the first day, which was the 15th of April, was that the chief, they call him GEC, Mr. Director, which under normal circumstances we will have to call him a CEO. And for a better word, let me call him the CEO. But in Eskom, they call him GCE, which is a different in other companies. Now, we wanted him to present the turnaround strategy. And then the COFO present the financial strategy. But where we want to go, we want to show them in their own financial reports that they are paying more on things that does not bring the money in the Eskom. And we need to then discuss these things, that how do you expect to pay things that are not just bringing profit. For example, the IPPs.
Right.
It is common cause that IPPs are paid higher than what Eskom sell them. 3 rand versus 2 rand. That you buy by 3 rand, you sell by 2 rand.
Right.
Now, those are the issues that we need to create a strategy and say, you can't sustain a company in this approach, because literally, you are killing it. For example, I can tell you that go and look at the financial report, the last year financial report of Eskom. You'll observe that Eskom paid 28 billion on the renewable energy, which is IPP in particular.
Okay.
And Eskom had a deficit of 20 billion. Now you can sit back and calculate that if Eskom did not buy this IPP with 28 billion, Eskom will have not had a deficit of 20 billion.
All right.
Because the deficit of 20 billion, to us, our analysis is that it is caused by the 28 billion that they paid IPP. That,
all right, Mr. Mabapa.
out of that, if they did not pay, they will have had a 7 billion profit.
We understand the clarity, and thank you so much for talking to us. Unfortunately, I have to leave it there due to time. NUM Deputy General Secretary, Mr. William Mabapa, joining us on the line.